I can't hear. Can you hear me up there?
Yeah. Now we can.
By the way, that was an amazing presentation by Paige.
Yes. Yes.
I love this skincare line, and I use this stuff religiously, guys. And if you don't believe me, watch a video that I had my daughters do on YouTube. Look for Sophia and Savannah's True Elements Tell-All. Just do a type in Google search bar. They do a phenomenal job presenting their testimonial as to why a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old are raving about this product. Anyway, I didn't come here to talk to you about True Elements. I came here to talk to you about a few other things, but I know it's been a long day, so just everybody stand up for a second. Stand up, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Yeah, let's hear you. You're going to say, I am. One more time. I am. Right on. Okay, have a seat. I want to say thanks to Susan Carver and her team for putting this event together. I want to thank Mr. Foley for making his way here to be a part of this and give us to share with you our knowledge, our insights, and all the goodies that he's brought to the table. I want to thank Jeff Isom for an amazing job yesterday at HBM. How many of you? And my mama back there, is she back there? I can't see. There she is. Pat Elkins, who's the back? Millionaires Club. When you get to be Millionaires Club, you get to be her best friend. She's awesome. Guys, I'm really excited about where we're at and where we're headed. And I've been on this journey of NECAN for a little over 24 years. So I've seen it in so many different ways and from so many different points of view. And I've picked up stuff along the way, and I like to share what I've learned. And some of the things that I've learned are pretty out there. I'm an engineer, actually, background, aerospace engineer. And so my analytical mind plays a role in helping to filter information and present it back to you in a way that maybe brings some context that you can apply in your NECAN business. Now, this subject is very near and dear to me, called the law of attraction. I believe that if you're not an attractive person, you're not going to attract much. And I don't mean physically looking, just the looks. What we're going to get into here is what's talking before you open your mouth. It's presenting itself all the time. And it's producing effects all the time, whether you are aware of it or not. And the greater awareness you have, the more capable you are of making it work for you, rather than it working against you without your knowledge. This law of attraction is so powerful and so profound. I've made a point of wanting to talk about this subject almost all the time because of its influence on me, and I'll share a little bit about my story as we go along. I want you to have a look at this slide. It's a graph, but it's a very interesting graph. It was done in 1966, February 2nd, 1966, by a guy named Baxter, who's actually a polygraph scientist for the CIA, and was playing around with a plant in his office one day, a plant that was brought in by a secretary, thinking, you know, how many of you talk to plants? You've heard about this, right? You talk to a plant that the plant is supposedly supposed to grow better or whatever. Really? Seriously? Well, I know you guys are in NECAN and you guys are in wellness, which means you're a lot brighter than most people out there. And you probably have come across this information, but I found it fascinating to bring the science into this law of attraction idea to really get a good firm grip of the importance of this and the relevance of this, and that it's science-based, it's fact-based. It's not just this hocus-pocus, you know, hands and knees, pray and hope for something to happen. It's much more cause effect. It's much more laws of the universe, no different than gravity. Rick said, you know, step off the stage, you're going to fall. Gravity's going to take you. Because there's a law at work. And there's this law called the law of attraction that is at work constantly in our life. It's resulting in the effects of our life, what we see as our life. And so this guy was working with this plant, and he was trying to get the plant to react by putting a polygraph on the leaf. So he's talking to it, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. Nothing is working. Nothing at all. So he's kind of making a joke of it that, this is nonsense. He's trying to get a way to get this plant to react somehow. And he was standing about 15 feet away from the plant when suddenly, and you see the suddenly moment, when he has an idea. He's going to take a match and burn the leaf. And suddenly, the chart goes nuts. The polygraph goes crazy. How is it possible that a plant, on all the other circumstances, did nothing, but the second he had this idea that it was just an idea, he didn't even look for a match yet, he just thought it. How can this plant know what he was thinking? First of all, is this plant even aware? Secondly, is it aware that there's somebody else in the room thinking? And is it aware that the thought that it's thinking is potentially harmful to it? Well, apparently so. This is just a glimpse of the many experiments that have come and gone, and I've been privy to and I've studied, that tell me there's absolutely with certainty these plants are conscious, and they are absolutely responding to the energy of thought. That all you have to do is think a thought. Now, this guy was thinking other thoughts prior. You see, this line was not doing much. So what's the difference? Why did it all of a sudden spike when he thought the thought of burning the leaf? He was doing all kinds of other stuff, didn't do anything. I believe the difference was really simple. The thought was genuine, authentic. The thought was in integrity. He actually was inspired to, let's burn the leaf. And that was not him trying to fake out the plant, because the plant knew he was trying to fake it out. It was him genuinely saying, oh, I'm going to do this. And boom, the plant says, holy crap, he's going to kill it. Powerful idea. And I assure you that this is not fiction. This has been studied in so many ways. What we have here is work of Dr. Moto out of Japan. These are photographs of some of his research. And all he did was put water in a test tube, label the test tube in some cases. In other cases, he played music to the test tube. In some cases, he subjected the test tube to thoughts and prayers. This is an example of his work. So the idea of compassion, the idea of thank you, the idea of wisdom, the idea of heavy metal music, the idea I will kill you, just in words, the idea you fool, water before and after a Buddhist prayer. Check out the water before the prayer. It's just blah. But after a Buddhist prayer, look at how beautifully symmetrical it is. Now you'll notice there's like a seventh spike on there that's not normal for water. Water is hexagonal, but there's another spike. And the scientists asked, why is that there? That doesn't make any sense. And he said, well, that's because I was praying to the seven gods. So this idea that a thought can cause what we consider an inanimate object to react. A thought can organize an atom in a water molecule, can organize a water molecule differently based on the thought that we're projecting into it, whether it's our thought, or whether it's the vibration of sound, or whether it's just the idea written in words. Because if you construct a word in writing, you're putting energy into a system. The word is a system of energy. And so it holds a vibration, and that vibration is being impactful on what we would consider an inanimate object. And yet here it is reacting. What else reacts to our thoughts? If, my goodness, water reacts to it. By the way, next time you're standing in front of somebody or anywhere near somebody, remember it's 75% water. So what you're thinking is causing a reaction within them they're not aware of, but they most certainly will respond to in some way. They either feel better or they feel worse because you're around. They either feel confidence or they feel the lack of it, depending on what you're putting out there. This energy is everything and everywhere in all things. Animate, a key has it because it's made of atoms. The hand, as you can see, this is called Kirlian photography. So we can actually photograph the energy and see it. It's visible, it's real, it's omnipresent. In fact, we know that there's more energy in no space, in the thing that we call black space or black matter, than just about anything that is physical. So this energy is omnipresent, and everybody has their own name for it. What do you call it? This infinite amount of energy that's all over the universe, in every atom, in everything, is whatever you want to call it. Some people call it the universe, some people call it God, some people, whatever. There's a name for it. It's really undefinable. But the idea that this energy is now, in our ability through science, to see that it's actually real, it's there. And it communicates. And it responds to impressions that we make just through the idea of thought. Well, what's this got to do with attraction? Everything! Everything. The book that I read was called Intention Experiment. I met Lynn McTaggart, who wrote first the book, The Field. And in there she goes through a number of experiments. There was one experiment where they had a leaf in MIT University and a group of psychics and scientists in London. And the idea was to project thoughts to this leaf that was contained within what they call a mu cage. Shields it from any electromagnetic fields. So it couldn't be influenced by anything but a thought wave, if there's such a thing. And the goal was to make the leaf glow. And through the naked eye, they were able to do so. They were able to see the leaf glow from people who were projecting that thought all the way in London to a leaf that was all the way in the United States. So now we know that this thought can transpose itself and go across time and boundaries like we've never known before. So how important is it to know that when you, those of you especially who just came through a presentation where you learned I plus M equals R. Remember that little experiment? Yeah. How important is it to understand the mechanism? Do you really have to know what I'm telling you right now? It just helps to know, to give it some validity so you get some more confidence in the idea that, you know what, this law of attraction is for real. It's for real. I mean, there's scientific proof here that this is actually for real. So how important is the intention? If we understand the rules, that I equal R, the mechanism. Gosh, there's a mechanism in play right now where a person could think a thought in London and affect a leaf in Boston. I don't understand that rule, but it's real. It's there. So what is the governing influence? What makes the leaf glow? The intention that we're putting into it. That's why she calls the book The Intention Experiment. Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I actually wrote that in my yearbook when they asked for those quotes in high school. That was my quote from my yearbook. Wow. What a surprise. Here I am. Little picture that was shared with me. By the way, I don't have the time here, so I'm not sure if I can't govern my time, so I wouldn't want to bring that up. This is a picture that was taught to me by Bob Proctor, who was my mentor. William Tudd and I have had a strong relationship with Bob over the years and really saw the resource of the wisdom that he was bringing, which is the wisdom of the ages, because Bob led me to books long before he even existed as a person that were teaching these things. People like Thomas Coward, one of some of the best writing I've ever read. Neville Goddard, even more brilliant. And what I learned was, this picture helps me understand. And when you have understanding, it creates awareness. And when you have awareness, it creates courage. And a better, you're able to apply the laws with much more conviction. And if intention is everything, and we're talking about attracting, what do you want to attract into your business? What do you want to attract into your life? How many of you were in HBM yesterday? Okay. Do you remember we had to do the X marks the spot on where your 5 pillars are? Well, when it came to finances, how many of you felt that you were below 50? How many of you were above 50? Okay. You want to know where I was? 4%. My financial pillar, 4%. Now you look at me and you think, how the heck is that possible? After a 20-year career with Nikan, many millions, tens of millions of dollars, how can you be at 4% and I'm like over 50%? Expectation. Now, who do you think is going to attract a bigger paycheck? You and me. See, most of us think in terms of money as, you know, how much I need. You know how much I need? You can't write a check big enough because of what I want to do with it. I need to be a steward of it. It needs to flow through me in such abundance that I have more than enough for my personal needs, that I can then do the things that I really want to do, which is make the impact that I want to make. And in this world, money allows for that. It's an influencer. So think in terms of what is going to be attracting people into your business if you have such a small perception of what's coming your way. If you think small, you don't need much help. But if you think big, the subconscious, that magical thing that causes a leaf to go from that thing is happening, it's being communicated, and people will be drawn to you without you even being aware, just because you are aware of the need for greater abundance in your life. Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
I couldn't give you a better technique. Like, we can talk about how to roll backs and how to do strength tests and, you know, what video to play and so forth, but all of those things, those mechanics, those mechanisms, what's the relative importance of a mechanism to intention in a result? So is this not important information?
Yes.
To talk about and to share and to really develop your mental skills and your fortitude on how to apply intention in a correct manner so that you can start drawing to yourself, attracting to yourself by the law? What is in alignment with that? The news is, it's good and it's bad. The news is you're in complete charge of what comes to you. That's the good news. Bad news is, you're in complete charge of what comes to you. So, what's been coming at you, what's been coming your way, don't ask, what did I do to deserve this? You absolutely did everything to deserve it, whether you're conscious of it or not. That's an empowering thought, not a disempowering thought. It means I'm not a victim. There's not some God that hates me and wants to punish me. It's just a God that operates by law. Lay down the law. Whatever you ask for and you pray for, ask as though you have received them, you shall receive them. How simple is that? Come on. That's an affirmation in our language these days. So let's talk about this for a second. So we've got our body. The top part, that big circle, is the head. The mind. Let's call it the mind because we really don't know what a mind looks like. I got a head, I got a brain, but what's my mind? The things that harbor thoughts, right? And I have a conscious mind, the one that's talking to you right now. And it has thoughts. I have a subconscious mind. And in that subconscious mind, whatever thoughts I'm thinking conjure up feelings. Feeling heart, the heart of the body is in the subconscious. And we have our body. And through our body, this represents the physical expression, where the energy is vibrating and creates that law of attraction. What goes out comes back. What goes out comes back. So that sort of gives you a picture. Now, imagine I've got this infinite power that is informing every cell of my body to be. Every atom in my body exists just because it's being informed to exist. It's being created as we stand here now. It was not created at some point in time in 1964. It's being created right now. Dr. Naida will tell you how long it takes to regenerate every part of your cells. That's happening constantly without me thinking about it. I have a new body every 7 years. Why do I keep recreating this one? This power comes in, and through our imagination, we can do something. We can create a thought that doesn't even exist in our known reality. I'll give you an example. I want you to imagine, actually don't. Don't imagine on stage there's this big pink elephant right in front of you. Now, how many of you actually saw, for a split second, a pink elephant? Your imagination is profound. Has anyone ever actually seen a pink elephant on planet Earth? No. You can see things that don't even exist in reality. And imagine those things, including a version of yourself that you haven't yet seen physically, or in front of the mirror, or in the way of the results of your life. There's a version of you that's already a royal diamond. You want to meet that person someday? You better get in alignment.
Yeah.
Not in line, in alignment.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Well, whatever we imagine and we hold in the subconscious expresses itself. And when we were a kid and we didn't think much, we just expressed whatever we were feeling, we produced results. Sometimes they were good, sometimes not so bad. Then we ate from the tree of knowledge, the tree of knowledge, right? We ate from that tree and all of a sudden we know something. I'm a nobody. I know something. What do you know? You know the limitations of the mind of man. That's all you know. You absolutely only know the limiting beliefs of the entire species of the human race. That's all you've gained, is access to that information. What about what you don't know? How much grander is that? What can you imagine? So, let's do that. Let's imagine you set a goal. It's a good idea, that's why there's a plus sign. Let's say your idea is Royal Diamond. Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Would you not be a better person as a Royal Diamond? Would you not have made a bigger difference and impact as a Royal Diamond? Would you not be an influence in a meaningful way as a Royal Diamond? All of that, what that conjures up, is worthwhile? Is it worthwhile of you?
Yes.
Is it worth finding a few and helping them learn about this and polish that off and become that shining diamond? Yeah, it's a good idea. So we put that idea in our head today. It's a good idea, let's put it in our thought. Let's walk around thinking, I'm a Royal Diamond, I'm a Royal Diamond, I'm a Royal Diamond, I'm a Royal Diamond, right? We're getting that feeling. We're getting that. If I sat here right now and I spent the next 10 or 15 minutes and put you into a state like Tony Robbins would do, he'd have you so excited you'd be levitating. I mean, he would get you so into the thing that you're thinking of, Royal Diamond, that your energy would be so high and so intense that you might actually get a sense of really what it feels like. That's that feeling that goes in here. But if you don't hold it here, what happens? You know, you step back outside, all of a sudden somebody cuts you off in traffic, and all that starts to fade away, and then you fall back into your regular routine, your norm. Well, we have our senses, our 5 senses, through which we interpret information. So this infinite power comes into my being. We have our 5 senses that pick up that information. We have these thoughts, but what has those 5 senses been picking up over the years? We see a lot of negative symbols in there. What have those 5 senses been telling us over the years? That we are capable or we are incapable? That we're powerful beyond belief or that we're limited? What have those senses been giving us as information? We look around, we see people die, we see people age. I guess that means I die and I age. So we take that information, it goes into the subconscious mind, and when we were a kid, before we could even process a thought and decide whether we agree with it or disagree with it, we just took it in. So you could have been a little kid eating pablum, and your parents had a fight at the table over money. And all of a sudden, that thought and idea about money is in that subconscious. It's in there, and you're not even aware of it because you weren't thinking that. You were just taking that information in. And now, you talk about money, and you don't know why it's not coming your way. I mean, I work hard at this, and I try, and so forth, and I just don't understand. Of course you don't understand. What else is in there that you don't understand that's working against you? Boy, you know, if we spent all day long, I bet you we could come up with an amazing list of things that have been holding you back. And then you'd have to go to maybe psychiatry for about 15 or 20 years and try to take one of those things apart, you know? We don't have time for that. We got to get on with the business of moving into action and getting some results. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to bypass this process. And we were taught this lesson many, many years ago. We don't have to use a psychotherapy process to get you clean or anything like that. It can happen in an instant. What does it take? Let me tell you a little bit about faith. And I'm not talking faith in a religious sense, although it's absolutely the same thing. Faith means I don't need to know how something's going to happen. And I don't even need to believe that it's going to happen, because how many beliefs do I have that it's not going to happen? Working against me. If I don't need to know how it's going to happen, and I don't even need to believe it's going to happen, but I completely commit, faithfully commit to the outcome, and I act as if someone is faithfully committed to the outcome, then the law is the law. It doesn't distinguish one person from another. It's not a moral law. It's not about morality. It's simply cause effect. If you disqualify your beliefs as incapable of getting you where you want to go, because you are where you're at for the beliefs you harbor. And if you want to move from where you are at to where you want to be, what has to change? What you believe possible for you. By the way, how many of you live on a flat earth? Nobody. How many of you live on a round earth? Okay. Some of you are not sure, right? That's okay. It's not a trick question. Yeah, the earth is a little bit squashed, I know. But for all intents and purposes, it's round. But if I asked this question 500 years ago, we wouldn't be laughing at all. You've been very clear about the world. It was flat. And yet here we are today, living together in a world that we conceive and understand to be round. Now, what changed? Did the world actually change? All that changed was our perception. Our perception of reality. Another way of saying our perception of the truth. It's not the truth we believed. It's what we believed to be the truth that condemned us. Now I can talk about the medical system. What do we believe about that condemns us? What do we believe about money that condemns us? But here we are living in this round world. All that changed was our perception. That's all that had to change. The world didn't have to change. All that had to change was our perception. So all that has to change is our perception. What are the manifestations of that? Think of all the possibilities that opened up when we decided the world wasn't flat anymore. There was a time when moms would be in the ocean with their kids and say, "Don't go too far, don't want you to fall off the edge." We would never conceive of sending a ship around the world. We could never conceive of putting a satellite in space in orbit, which now empowers your televisions or fly-by-wire, or not only televisions, but your cell phones and fly-by-wire. God knows how many things satellites are doing for us. The mind of man couldn't have conceived that idea until the mind of man first conceived the idea that the world was round, and dismissed the belief, no matter how popular, no matter how sanctified, was wrong. So what we need to do to get from where we are to where we want to go is we need to dismiss some stuff and acknowledge some stuff and start living in that truth and not that truth. So there's a truth that you can accept, that this is your lot in life. You'll never be a royal diamond or whatever. Or you can dismiss that idea all entirely because God knows what put that notion of you being limited in you. It doesn't even matter. We don't have to go there. I have to blame my father, blame my mother, blame the church, blame blah, 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 blah. Waste of time. How many millions of dollars have been spent in psychotherapy and drug potions and so forth to deal with an issue that can't be dealt with that way? It just gets suppressed. And whatever gets suppressed is going to get expressed in the way of disease anyway. So let's step on to the new chapter. And the new chapter of our life is imagine a better version of you. Imagine a better version of everyone. Start to see that reality. Start to imagine that reality. Start to see that pink elephant in the room. And I'll bet you if we stood here long enough and we believed wholeheartedly well enough, a man could rise from the dead. If all these things that he did are supposedly within our reach and we are capable of according to his own testimony, then why wouldn't we be able to do that? Prove to me we can't. Just because you haven't is not proof. So what else are we capable of? Honestly, to the creator of the universe that's flowing through you right this second, informing every cell and every atom in your being to be, waiting for you to instruct it in your imagination and in your faith of being what you want to create, what you want to see on the screen of your life, standing by to provide you with anything you want. What are you giving him as instruction? I want you to make me old. I want to make me slow. I want to make me stupid. I want to make me poor. I want to make me... Think about it. Those are your instructions. instructions, not his. You get to experience it because that's the law. So all we need to get better at is controlling what we're thinking, what we feel about what we're thinking, and how we can move that feeling into something that matters and not something that negates, is to move into the feeling of faith. What does that feel like? When somebody has faith, what does it actually feel like to have faith?
Peace.
What would your physical posture be if you actually were a person of faith? You'd be invincible. You would be capable of anything and everything. The way you would stand, your physical body language itself, the energy emanating from you would speak to every plant and every animal and every star and every human being on the planet all at the same time. Who you are being at this very moment is speaking. Who we are being collectively at this very moment is speaking. Now I think we got to raise our voice if we want to see 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times as many people in this room next year. We have to raise our voice. What does it mean to raise your voice? This will happen automatically when this happens. When you grow into alignment with a better version of yourself, when you stop believing in this version and start believing and accepting this version, knowing that there is a law at work that doesn't care how you feel about the law. Doesn't care. It doesn't care, oh, but I'm a good person. Why did it make me fall? Doesn't care about that nonsense. It's a law. Operate according to the law. The law says pretty straightforward. Whatever you ask for, ask as though you have received it. Live here, not here. Oh, I hope someday that's going to be me. You can't do that. Hope is weak. Faith is the only power. Because faith moves you into the spirit of who you are now. Hope is this thing, I hope someday. Hope is out here. Hope. Faith is I am. I am. And why do I have a right to be? Because I am. If I didn't have a right to be, I wouldn't be. So get this stuff into alignment. Other word of the name that we give alignment to. I think you guys were in William's presentation last night. You heard a word. What was the word? Was it skill or was it? Attitude. Attitude. What is attitude? When your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are all saying the same thing. I'm a man in motion. Amazing what, try this. You go up to the mall, it's a lot of people busy, especially on the weekend, and it's hard to get from anywhere, so many people trying to get from, try this. And watch as the party of the sea. Because your energy is preceding you. Informing those people on an unconscious level, make way. Powerful stuff. So, I was a diamond, and I was a diamond for quite a while. Dennis, I think you had just gone Royal Diamond. Royal Diamond. You just gone Royal Diamond maybe 2 years earlier. And there was this gap in time. He got in the business the same time I did. And there was this gap in time between him going Royal Diamond and finally me going Royal Diamond. And it never occurred to me that what was limiting me from going Royal Diamond is that I actually never made a decision to. And it didn't occur to me that. And it was almost because, my upline, they were like gods to me, and so, I'd just love to be in their wake. it never occurred to me I could be one of them. It never occurred to me to make an actual decision about it. I wasn't trained that way. I was just lucky to be with everybody and hanging out and part of the whole experience and so forth. So I'm in the Science of Getting Rich seminar with Bob Proctor in Toronto, Canada, and in front of the entire audience, and half of which was my downline, he says, "Hey Mike, when are you going Royal Diamond?" I'm like, "You mean you haven't got a goal?" I said, "Oh great." A goal? No, actually. No. He says, "Well, let's do it right now." And so right then and there, he puts me on the spot to do a goal. Now, how many of you would just, "Helen, who do you think you are?" I'm not doing that. You know? But he was somebody who was trying to encourage me from stepping out of this paradigm that I was in that was prejudicing my own possibilities. I was still living in the flat world when I could have been in the round world all this time. So he said, "Make a goal. Let's do it right now." So we did it. I set the goal. And this was a big goal. This was a monster goal. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to make it so hard, because he says, if it doesn't scare you, it's not real. If it doesn't scare the bejeebus out of you, it's not worth it. And some people are afraid to set a goal because, oh, what if I fail? Oh, sure. Then don't set a goal at all. See how that gets you. So I set the goal. The goal was Royal Diamond in 5 months. I was a diamond. And in order for me to go from diamond to Royal Diamond in 5 months, because there were 2 major events that I wanted to piggyback off. A major event like this. And I wanted to go across on stage in Edison, New Jersey as a new Royal Diamond. And 5 months to create, are you ready for this? 15 silvers on my second level.
Oh, wow.
Now I can sponsor somebody that can help them become a silver, but to actually help them find the silver. And 15 of these on the second level, not a single person identified, was the impossible dream. But I decided that it didn't matter how impossible it seemed to me, because I'm here, but the rules of the game are you must imagine and have faith in your imagining. So I figured, you know what? This Jesus guy is either real or he's just full of it. You know what? Because he said, this is how you play the game. Whatever you ask for and you pray for, ask as though you have received them and you shall receive them. And he talks about faith of a mustard seed. If you had but the faith of a mustard seed, a little tiny seed, you could say to this mountain, move, and it will move. Wow. Okay, this guy's either for real or he's just a lunatic. And 2 billion people on the planet are lunatics with him. Or there's got to be some element of truth here. And this guy, Bob Proctor, who I really looked up to, who came more from a cerebral point of view and showed me laws, said this is a law, this is not just some hocus pocus stuff. Yeah, a lot of people believe in the hocus pocus. They like the show business side of the equation. But it's a law. And if you apply it faithfully, you will see. So I figured, well, what do I have to use? 5 months Royal Diamond. The worst that could happen is I'm not a Royal Diamond. The best that could happen is I'm a Royal Diamond. But either way, I wasn't then. So what did I actually have to lose? Nothing. Maybe a little pride because I didn't get it done. I stood up in front of everybody and said, here's my goal. And it's written on this thing. I'm so thrilled and filled with joy of the satisfaction to have completed my objective of Royal Diamond with 3 platinums and 3 diamonds. Now the original writing, I changed it. The original writing was 6 platinums. And then I had Bob Proctor sign it, had my upline sign it. And that was my gold card. Thing that I put in a plastic sleeve, carried in my pocket. Now, that's what he said you have to do. You read the book. What's the book? Earl Nightingale is in that book. Think and Grow Rich. He says the secret, it's really simple. Write it down. That's the secret. Carry it with you. Look at it every day. Emotionalize it every day. In other words, he was saying, be that person you want to experience yourself as. Now. Live in the shoes of that person. Now. Act like that person. Now. Be faithful to that creation. Now. And as long as every moment is now, you will see, you will realize that vision. It will become, by law, it will move into form. But you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hand. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to play by the rules. I'm a scientist. This either is a bunch of hogwash or something magical is going to happen. I don't care. Let's find out. Let's do it. So I got as many other people as I could to buy in. And so we went. I am a Royal Diamond. So thrilled and grateful, here I am. And started acting like that person. Well, I knew that I needed help because what happens when you set a goal for yourself? What's the first thought that comes into your head?
Are you kidding?
It's those damn devils. It's like the gates of hell opens up and says, oh, you think so, huh? So I did. I heard those voices and I knew there was only one way I could overcome this obstacle. And the obstacle was I have to dismiss the possibility that what I think and what I believe is just not right and not correct. Not on alignment with the law, the truth. So, the word was faith, faith of a mustard seed. So on the back of my little goal card, I wrote that, faith of a mustard seed that I could take out and I could see in my hand every now and then to remind me, Mike, the rules are simple. Decide what it looks like and be faithful to it, period. Regardless of what the circumstances appear, because between here and here, there are circumstances that are happening and are going to happen that you have no knowledge of until you can look back. He says, Bob said to me, Mike, you're not going to know how you're going to get there anyway. In fact, you won't know until you're there. Then you can look back and say how you did it. I thought, oh, that's relieving. I don't have to know. Cool. So I just got to be and be faithful. And I will then start to act and think and move and things will happen automatically. And that's what happened. I got the job done, guys. On September 27th was my goal. On September 26th, at 6 p.m., I was on stage in Edison, New Jersey. My cousin Michelle's in here, Platinum. We did a great job last night, huh?
Yeah.
Woo! He was the 6th Platinum. And he ran from the back of the room, doing ABC calls with Bob Proctor, as a matter of fact, to close the deal, ran to the side of the room, and from stage I could see him do this. And that meant he was done, and I was done. And I stood there, September 26th. Can you imagine that? September 26th at 6 o'clock, 6 hours ahead of schedule, for the impossible dream. How the heck is that possible? It's a law that says everything is possible for those who have faith. So, be faithful. Be faithful to who you want to be. When you look in the mirror, who are you being? Every moment of every day, who are you being? Are you being a coward? Are you being afraid? Are you being committed to this person you've resigned yourself to be? Or are you the miracle that you were created? The likeness and the image of the perfection that you are. Who are you being?
Come on now.
Let's get that voice raised. And we, not will, change the world, are changing the world. Have a great lunch.